Hi, and welcome to Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Today I'm going to read to you from Rogue Wolf by Lilliana Rose. It's the third book in the Protector Wolf Shifter series. Chapter 1. Tamaska never would have thought she could stomach so much blood. The night of the vampire attack still burned raw in her mind, along with Kodiak and Shota's fight for the alpha position. Kodiak had won, but at what cost? She shivered as questions and thoughts tangled in her mind. Tamaska scrubbed the brush back and forth on the carpet, its bristles stained red. They'd probably be stained permanently. If only she could erase the memory of that night from her mind as quickly as she could erase bloodstains from the floor. She'd give her brain a good scrub and then get on with life. Instead, her life had been shattered and its pieces scattered, some of them never to be found again. She'd entered an entirely new world, one full of beasts she'd always thought were only myths made up to scare children. More than that, she was about to become a monster herself. "You don't have to do this," said Ash. She cleaned nearby, moving a red-stained cloth up and down the wall of the meeting room at the back of the Wolf Shifters clubhouse. "I do," replied Tamaska. Her elbow ached from scrubbing. Eyes dry from a lack of sleep, Tamaska dipped the brush into the bucket of warm, soapy liquid. The water turned red so quickly it needed to be replaced again. "No, you don't. This is pack business." Ash's jeans and shirt were stained from hours of washing every inch of the clubhouse. Ash's stains reminded Tamaska exactly why she needed to help with the cleanup. She was going to be part of the pack. Wolf shifters had already been killed, protecting her against the vampires. "It's the least I can do." Tamaska slammed the brush into the carpet, pressed down hard, and scrubbed. She rinsed the brush and continued, determined to show the others she could do it. Each time she scrubbed, she removed more blood. After so long, though, it felt like she was only pushing the stains around. There was so much blood to clean up in the main building. How long would that take? The pack needed to regroup before the vampires came for her again. There has to be an easier way. But she wasn't thinking clearly. Intrusive questions filled her mind. What would it be like to have fur? Tamaska shivered, her skin prickling despite the exertion from cleaning all day. Sweat soaked into her shirt, which she'd borrowed from Kodiak. She would become a wolf herself, which scared and thrilled her at the same time. Would becoming a wolf give her the fighting skills she desperately needed? She wasn't even sure the transformation would happen anymore. The pack hadn't entirely accepted her or approved of her idea of becoming a wolf, one of them. The recently killed alpha, Olkan, had ruled mating with humans to be forbidden. He'd reasoned that the pack needed to keep their bloodline pure. The wolf shifters had come from America decades ago, following vampires to Australia to keep humans safe. But now Kodiak was set to be the new alpha. He was going rogue, changing pack rules and causing a stir. His first act as alpha was to officially take Tamaska as his mate and rule that she would be changed into a shifter. That decision had divided the pack. Since then, tension hung thick in the air. Tamaska knew that it was her fault. That, and something to do with the blood opal. The vampires had attacked the shifters because of her. They wanted her, and the pack was now protecting her. She owed the pack, big time. Tamaska didn't doubt for one moment that the pack members would see her as weak if she didn't repay her debt. If she was going to be changed and become part of the pack, she had to work to convince them to accept her. That's why she cleaned alongside them. She did share in hopes that they would come to accept her. The change will help them to accept me too. At least, that's what she hoped. Of course, that could only happen if she managed to survive the change. Kodiak had instructed Ash to research ways to ensure a successful transformation. For the last hour, all Tamaska had wanted to do was question Ash. What had she found? More importantly, when was Tamaska going to be changed? Kodiak had gotten up early from the bed they shared in one of the dorms that hadn't been defiled during the fight. For a few hours they'd been clean in each other's arms, the nightmare around them forgotten. Tamaska hadn't the chance to ask him when the change would occur. She hadn't even had the chance to kiss him, only to be in his arms, the silence bonding them deeply. Skipping breakfast, Tamaska had dressed in his clothes and set to work removing the bloodstains. It seemed unbelievable that the fight had been 2 nights ago, and what she'd managed to clean yesterday had barely made a difference. Yet, like everyone else, she got on with the task. Kodiak had told her something else after the fight, and she couldn't make sense of it. He had told Tamaska she might be more than just human. What the fuck did that mean? Am I a vampire? Tamaska didn't think that was possible, based on how her stomach felt now as she cleaned up the blood. There was definitely no urges to lick the blood or anything else foul. Am I some other monster? Her mind whirled through the list of fantasy creatures she knew about. Dragon, banshee, zombie, witch, bogeyman, goblin, golem. I would know if I was one of those, right? None of the creatures that came to mind felt right. Wolf shifter? Tamaska shivered. That was impossible. She couldn't be something like a wolf and not know about it. Then again, when she'd gone to the nightclub alone in search of the blood opal, it was like her senses had been on steroids. She could hear and see better than normal. But that could work in her favor. If she was superhuman, then her transformation into a wolf shifter might be less risky. From the very little Kodiak had told her about the process, Tamaska understood the risks. A change could go horribly wrong. Her mind circled back to her most important question. When would she be changed? The question burned through her, demanding an answer. She couldn't ignore it. Ash hadn't always been cleaning in the same room with Tamaska. She'd taken time away. Maybe she'd been researching how to change a human into a wolf shifter. Tamaska was convinced Ash knew something. At least Ash could fill her in on what to expect, anything to pass the time while they completed the gory task. Tamaska had to ask about the process before she lost her nerve and changed her mind. Tell me, what should I expect when I become a wolf? Tamaska blurted. Ash froze for a moment, then continued washing away the blood on the wall. There's nothing to tell, said Ash. I don't believe you. Tamaska was tired of being left in the dark about everything going on, especially when the events involved her. Don't believe me then, snapped Ash, turning to face Tamaska. Why won't you tell me? I have a right to know. You don't have any rights. A lump formed in Tamaska's throat. I do have the right to know what's ahead of me. Look at the walls, the floors. That's what's ahead of you. Not if I change. Tamaska wasn't going to let the topic go. She held on tight to the cleaning brush as if it gave her strength. Not that simple. Why? Tamaska almost threw the brush at Ash, but she didn't want to give the shifter another reason not to accept Tamaska into the pack. Because there's risks which will impact others. It's not all about you. Ash growled and returned to cleaning the wall. Intense anger vibrated from her like a hot wind. Tamaska pursed her lips, eyes prickling with tears. She blinked quickly, pushing away the emotion. She trusted Ash more than the others. Would it always be tough for her when it came to the pack? Would she always be an outsider? Ash threw a red-stained cloth into her bucket, then rinsed it before returning to cleaning. Tamaska had seen the shadows under Ash's eyes darken as the day progressed. With strands of hair escaping from her ponytail, She didn't look like the pack member Tamaska had first met. The pack's infighting and the loss of the alpha had burdened Ash, but that wasn't going to stop Tamaska from pressing her point. "Do you think I'll leave if you don't tell me anything?" asked Tamaska. "Would you?" "Of course not." "Then don't flatter yourself. It's not all about you. This is pack business." "Not part of the pack." Tamaska clenched her jaw. "Yet." Ash ignored her, busying herself with the task at hand. Various hues of red smeared against the wall as she dragged the cloth through another blood spatter. Tamaska was more determined than ever to become a wolf and join the pack, but she needed to try a different tactic. "I need more water," said Tamaska, standing up and stretching her tired muscles after having knelt on the floor for too long. Ash didn't even glance her way. "Do you want me to change your water?" asked Tamaska. "I'm all right, thanks," she responded sharply. "Okay then." Tamaska picked up the bloody bucket of water, her opposite hand outstretched to counter the bucket's weight as she carefully walked outside. Out of all the pack members, Ash had always been the most supportive of Tamaska, but there were times when Ash got prickly, like right now. Tamaska understood the pressures the pack members faced. It was more than just the vampire's attack. They'd lost members, and the most prominent loss was Olcan. Then Kodiak fought Shota for leadership and announced Tamaska as his mate. Tamaska sighed. She would have to tread more carefully if she wanted any information. But patience wasn't her strong suit. It wouldn't have become an issue if Ash had just told her everything. Secrets only bred distrust. Distrust would destroy the pack. She might be a human, not one of them, but she couldn't allow that to happen.